There's no safe like SimpliSafe. Hey everyone, thank you for joining me and welcome back to the $9,000 house. It has been way too long, but I need to get back on this place and get it finished up. Last we left off, the house had been drywalled and I sprayed and back rolled all the primer. In this video, I'll be doing the painting. What I did do is yesterday is when I showed up and I kind of got reset up to get going on this project. I had forgotten when I pressure tested the plumbing to turn on the water heater to where the water would fill it up and then go into the hot water line. So I actually only pressure tested the cold water line, the blue one you see sticking out the wall. So all that plumbing is running up behind the drywall in insulated walls. All this work has been done when technically if it leaked, you'd have to tear stuff out, fix it, and then repair the drywall and prime to get back to this same point. But I filled up the hot water tank, and then pressurized the lines, and they've been sitting, everything's on right now, and there's no leaks that I can see at this point, but I think if it was leaking, I'd see it after 24 hours, and you can listen down on the valve in the basement, and you can't hear any water going through the pressure reducing valve, which usually makes, even at a small amount of water going through it, you can still kind of hear it. So very pleased that I kind of skated by on that one. Now, I didn't assume that there was a problem, but that would be when a problem would pop up. So in this video, again, going to be doing painting. I'll be spraying it using the Graco X5 sprayer, using Valspar Express Coat. I'm going white flat. My thinking behind that, flat looks great. There's no sheen difference between the walls and the ceilings. Normally you would do your ceilings flat and then your walls in a rental somewhere like in an eggshell. Some people go even higher than that. I think it looks terrible when people do shiny walls. Flat paint can smudge easy, so it gets dirty when you rub your hands on it, but it's also very easy to touch up. So when you come back in, you can just say you get this corner right here, it gets really dirty. I would just take a roller and I would roll out this, just go to the corner. If it's real dirty right in there, I would just roll out this whole section or roll out this wall. Or sometimes you can just get away with kind of cleaning it, and then I'll say dry brushing, but sort of a dry roller, where you just kind of go over an area that's been cleaned and it just kind of gets it back into shape. But a lot of times it's just the corners, and what I'll do is I'll just come back in and I'll roll this corner and kind of fade out kind of blend out the paint rolled. That's if it needed to happen. So on the $12,000 house, that house has its original paint job, and all I've done is gone back in, spackled holes, cleaned, and then done some touch-up painting. I think the next time a person goes out of that house, I will have to probably do a repaint job, or either repaint like certain rooms. But yeah, I will be using semi-gloss. I think it's semi-gloss in the upstairs bathroom, and then I'll probably do it in the kitchen. The reason I went semi-gloss all over satin, it was the price difference. It was about a $40 price difference between the buckets. So I hate the idea of putting semi-gloss. I think semi-gloss paint looks terrible. And I don't know why I've seen it where people paint entire houses in semi-gloss and it looks terrible. And I think it is kind of problematic in a lot of ways too, especially if you're using a color. White, you can get away with it maybe in certain cases, but it's not preferred in my opinion.
About 5 years ago, my wife sat me down and told me I'd be a father soon. This jolted me into thinking differently about almost everything. My mind quickly drifted towards the safety of my family and the security of my home. This road led to SimpliSafe by recommendation of a good friend. The first two aspects that attracted me was that you install it yourself and that the service is contract-free, allowing you to start and stop anytime. He continued telling me about what SimpliSafe offered in its 24/7 professional monitoring, which is now powered by Fast Protect technology. This allows SimpliSafe monitoring professionals to promptly contact you and dispatch the proper first responders. This is done whether you were home, away, or unable to respond. When he told me how much it cost, I was sold. For less than $1 a day, you have 24/7 professional monitoring contract-free. You'll then be covered by SimpliSafe's advanced response technology, which confirms a threat is real and gets help there fast. This is offered at less than half the cost of traditional home security brands. With spring being the season of so many projects, it's the perfect time to pair a SimpliSafe security system with your home. Right now, you can save 20% on your SimpliSafe security system when you sign up for an interactive monitoring plan and get your first month free. Visit simplisafe.com/homemade-home to customize yours.
It is currently 1 a.m. and I just finished painting everything. I just wanted to show you just a few clips because it's white on white. It is the exact same as the other video with less impact since it's not painting bare drywall. Can't really see the transition, but it's just whiter now. This is a white, whereas the primer is white, but it almost has some sort of cooler tint than just straight white. So this just looks normal white now. The other stuff might have just been the gray of the drywall coming through it, a thin coat of the primer, I'm not sure. But the only difference is in here, look at the wall, you can see that sheen from the light. So I painted the kitchen and the bathrooms out semi-gloss. I was gonna go get some satin to tone it down a little bit, but it's really not that bad looking. I mean, semi-gloss paint looks terrible in my opinion, but it's not like bad for semi-gloss. The only thing that I did that I really questioned is it's flat and then goes semi-gloss. I was gonna just have this bathroom, the outside the bathroom be flat and only have those two walls be semi-gloss, just because that's kind of the more of the kitchen area and just to where this transition around this corner didn't look odd. But I think it's fine, and most tenants are not going to be that observant and get upset over flat to semi-gloss. But that's just where the transition was. Probably would have looked better to just wrap the flat around there, but that's the way I did it. Bathroom, that was semi-glossed. And then the ceilings, of course, are flat in the kitchen. Out there is just flat, and then upstairs is dark, so we're not going up there. That bathroom, which is above the kitchen, was semi-glossed, including the ceiling. And I went pretty heavy and then rolling it out, so it's a pretty heavy coat just to really seal the drywall up good, since it is the dampest part of the house. Of course, the kitchen gets pretty damp as well when you're making a bunch of spaghetti or something, or boiling a bunch of water. You can really increase the humidity in the kitchen too, but it's mainly just to where the walls are very easily cleaned. Same for the bathroom. It's a rental. When you come in and you want to wash down the walls around the toilet where all the pee's been splattering all over the place, you can do it much easier. Flat paint is just going to absorb it. But I don't know. Let me see. Look how terrible semi-gloss paint looks. I don't like glossy anything on anything. So I make furniture, and satin is what I like on furniture. Usually I do finishes either sort of somewhere satin to right below satin. Sometimes the top of a table or something will get fairly glossy looking, but yeah. So that's that for the painting. Just wired my first three-way switch. Going to show it to you real quick. So one of these black wires, neutral and a ground, I think it's this one right there, top left, that brings power into this box here. Then one of these wires runs up over top where the sink will be, and that supplies where a little pendant light will hang. Then the other one, this wire here, it's got that extra red wire in it. That is for my three-way switch, and this is an actual three-way switch. You see it's got this extra little screw here versus just the two for the hots. So how it works is I've connected all the blacks and I pigtail over to this. So this is the hot wire, then this is the black wire that runs to the other switch on the other side of the porch, and this red wire goes on the opposite side, goes over there as well. Pigtailed out one ground, so they're all connected, one pigtails out, and all that means is wiring up the wires together and then hang a little extra piece out to connect. So that wire runs up through the ceiling, and on the other side I've got the red there, white here, so that's the neutral, becomes the hot, and so I'll wrap black tape around that to signify that that other black connects down, and then the single ground connects to that. So now when you walk in, coming back from wherever you've gone, you come in, you flip the switch and your lights are on, and you can see there are two different colors. One is cool, one is warm. I just did that just to be weird, just kidding. The little box that's up in the ceiling, it's got this little slide switch on it. You can adjust it because they're LED, so you can adjust the coolness, the temperature of the light. So I just need to make that adjustment. So you're back from the grocery store, you walk through there, and then you can, whoops, flip your light off. Or when you're leaving, flip it on. And then when you get over there, leaving out the door, you can flip this one off and flip the porch light on. So that's a three-way switch wired that way. There's various ways to do it depending on where the power's coming in, whether it hits the lights first or the switches first. So right now I don't have the actual power coming to this box. This is pulling power from the bathroom light. This is the wire that runs to the breaker panel. So I have this plugged into a circuit that is on right now, and I just stripped the wires and I plugged this in, and that wire that's plugged into the extension cord runs over to that box. So that's one way of kind of working on this stuff is I keep this handy wherever it is. That right there, let me show you how this works. So that tells me what's hot. So you can see that's connected to the box right now. I have everything on right now, so I have to be careful. So you can see this wire is hot. So now all I need to do in here is I'll flip the power off. That's why I've got a headlamp on, is I'm just flipping power back on and off and finishing circuits. So I'll connect all these, connect those two blacks. So this will give power to this wire here, and then I'll pigtail two black wires out that go to these switches, and then connect all the grounds with pigtails coming off to the switches and connect all the neutrals. Got the power turned off. But to ensure you've done that, you can see my extension cord doesn't have power and the wire going to the panel doesn't have power. Nothing in here has power. So I'm just, making contact to the blacks. You got to make sure your thing is working before you trust it. So get that out the way. I'm not going to explain everything. I'll just kind of show you, and I might mention some stuff along the way. So this is goes back to the panel, and then this one right here is the one that jumps power over to the other box. So the first thing I do is break my electrical tester. First thing I do is I'm going to go ahead and cut these to roughly the same length. And these wires are getting stripped to where they can just be wire nutted together. So these are not as much as the ones that go on the switches and receptacles that get kind of a loop put into it. So this is just one type of wire stripper. Handy. This tool right here will do everything you need it to do pretty much. How this one works is it's just got a little blade. You can stick that on here. It actually makes it a little easier. You just twist it around and pull it off. So this is a very simple tool. These are just kind of nice to have. And really, I don't know, it's the first time I've used them on this project, and I'm really not used to them yet. So I need to put these together plus two blacks coming out. So I need a larger wire nut. I'll be back in a second.
I say I need a larger one, but I really don't. This is 14. I'm so used to doing the walls, which are 12, and you can't put as many in there. So the gauge of the wire is just the size. So 14 gauge wire is for the lights, and then you use 12 for the receptacles. You can use 12 for the lights if you want to, you just don't have to. So I'm gonna make up pigtails. This piece will be good enough. I'll show you how this one works. So I just need about 3/4 of an inch or so. So I just stick it in there, run this around, and then pull it off, and I've got a little stripped wire. Now the handy thing this thing does, it's made to work with these wire nuts. You just stick it on there and run it up on there. And I think the funny thing is I didn't know that when I had bought this, and these were just the wire nuts that I bought, these winged ones. And then in a video, I think on the $12,000 house, somebody told me that. So I take y'all's tips. Appreciate them when you give them to me. All right, so these are gonna have loops put into them. So I'm gonna strip back more. That's another thing that little handy tool does. And again, it doesn't weigh anything. I got a fanny pack on right now with the stuff that I'm using in it, with the top of it's open. But this really reduces down a lot of tools. And I try to keep my wires from getting too twisted up. Helps you when you start shoving stuff up into the box. Yeah, it just kind of helps to get them all roughly the same length, kind of get them all aimed in the same direction. They don't have to be perfect, but when you're wire nutting them together, it helps. There it all is. Ground wire split off to it. Neutrals together. Hot's where they need to be, hopefully. Let me go flip the box on. Panel's on. Let's make sure things are working right. So we'll turn that switch on. So that's fine. And then this one. You can hear it running. So the fan's on. And then we'll turn those off. And come over here and see if this stuff is still working. And it is. You can see the lights. And then we'll come up here. So you can see how we're kind of connecting it up. So now I could install this light and the switch.
let's take a look at a few of the things that I've done off camera. So all of the receptacles, I believe, are done downstairs. That is throughout living room, kitchen, dining room, and that side porch. Then I also got this wired in. So what this controls are living room lights. This is the porch light, and then the fan. So very nice. And then as well, the three-way switch. And that's for the light up there, but I need to wire the one at the top of the steps. And we'll go up there in just a second. Still need to put in the fire alarms, need to wire in the technology receptacles or whatever they're called. Face plates, where they're not in. In the bathroom, I have got this wired in, just need to put the face plate on. And then GFI receptacle here, and then a vanity light there. And I think what I'm gonna do is, Lowe's didn't have one that I really liked, simple enough that didn't cost way too much. So I think I'm gonna order that from somewhere. So this is on its own circuit for the refrigerator, but all the above counter receptacles are in. Just need face plates for that one. I bought some and I broke them somehow. And then I don't know what I did here. This is one of those mysteries of working on a house, but I have a double gang box here and I only was gonna have one switch in here. I don't know why I did this. I don't know. There's not another wire floating in the wall. I wish there was, but I don't believe there is, because my big mistake that I made, and I looked back in videos and I saw the mistake too, and I'm pretty sure I didn't correct it after that, is this is a two gang box and there's gonna be an extra switch that goes outside to the light on the porch. I never ran power over to this box or never ran power to the light. So I don't have a way to power that light and all the drywall's in. So I'm not gonna call that a disaster, but it is a bummer. And I don't believe the way that this three-way switch is wired, that I can't pull power off this. I believe this white is a constant hot, but the problem is there's not a neutral over here at this point with the way that this works. I don't think. I'm not sure. I'm gonna look into this. I think there's some sort of a little device that I can add into here. I think it's sort of like a solenoid. I don't know. I'm talking stupid here, but I think there's something that I can do here to power this. The other thing that I could do is on the outside of the wall, there is a receptacle that is hooked into these, but these are hooked into the countertop, so all of these are ground fault protected. And I could pull power, it's a 20 amp circuit, I could pull power from that outside switch up the wall somehow, and then pull a new 12 gauge wire from here up to the light on the outside and just tie that into the porch receptacles. And then it would be tricky because there's insulation in the wall, but it would be the easiest thing to do. I could maybe unscrew the drywall along that door and kind of pull it out. And if I pop a few screw heads in the drywall, I can touch that up. But that would allow me to do that. Otherwise, I would need to somehow run another 14 gauge wire, maybe from the breaker panel or somehow from the basement, and bring it underneath the porch, somehow drill a hole, and then get it snaked up through the wall and pulled out of there. That's probably the cleanest way to go about it. It's a major bummer because this wire here goes up and straight across. All I had to do is just pull that wire straight through those holes down beside it, and I wouldn't have this issue right now. The thing that is suspicious to me that I just can't remember, having a two gang box here, I think originally there was a single there, and I think what I did is I was maybe intending on running another 3-wire through and having that porch light be controlled from here as well. So like say you knew somebody was coming home, you could just flip that on and the porch light out there is on from here without walking over there. It's not that far, but I may have been thinking that. And then I'd also thought that maybe I intended on doing this to this one, but that's not the case because there's receptacles right here. I don't know what I was thinking. I think it was just something I did. It's no big deal. You can get covers to where there's only one switch in it, but I don't know why I didn't do that. So there's that. So that is it for the downstairs. You know, just looking up at the lights, I only have minimal bulbs in the house right now, but I really like recessed lighting. some people say that it's, dated. I just think it's clean looking. And I'll be honest, I like the look of the older fixtures more than these LED ones. These LED ones are very cool because you can just turn them on. And since earlier in the video, you can see I adjusted the temperature. This one was set to really warm, so I slid that over. And they are neat, and they're very easy. And if you're doing a renovation and you just want to go into an attic and then do your wiring and then just drill holes up through there, through the drywall, and they're held in by these little spring clips. They're super easy, but there's something about them that just has like a cheap look. I don't know. I think that those types of lights will look more dated eventually than these ever will. So that's one thing you gotta think about. Whatever you think is modern will be dated one day, and a lot of things that are modern now don't have what I call, won't have a classic look later. Not that can lights are exactly classic, but I just think they're nice looking. So at the top of the stairwell, or illuminating the stairwell, is this light here. You saw me installing, and I went back, and this is made up of 4 9-inch rods. I removed one of those rods, so this is not hanging on a wire, it's a rod. So I went ahead and removed one of those. It's not lit up yet. It'll be controlled by this, but this box gets power from this switch, which runs up to a receptacle on the other side of the wall. Then power jumps from there up to this light. And then this 3-wire is controlling it. There's a 3-wire that runs from here up to the light, and from there up to the light, and then from this receptacle on the other side of the wall up to that light. So that's that. Let me go. Oh, there we go. So that's kind of showing what it looks like. I know when I switch to this wide angle, the lighting does not work as good. But yeah, that light was just hanging just a little too low. I didn't like it hanging under the window. This will just look a little better. It's a very simple light. It's one of those lights you buy at Lowe's where you buy the light fixture and then you just pick from their assortment of globes. This was the one they had on the display. I thought it would blend in here, not be too gaudy or anything like that. I was gonna maybe get one with a metal shade, but I wanted it to illuminate up and down as well. Most of your light's gonna come down, but it's gonna, with this glass shade and it being frosted, it's gonna cast a little glow up into there. And it also wouldn't shoot the light directly down. It's gonna illuminate the wall as it goes down, so any imperfections in the drywall won't have this just light cast right down it. Like if you shine a light right down the wall, you're gonna see every single little wonk in there. But yeah, everything's looking nice and clean. So the next thing that's gonna happen is I'm gonna finish these receptacles. I'll probably do all those, if not, most, if not all, off video. And then I'll be hanging ceiling fan here, and then just get the bezels and trim in there. So I'll probably show the fans, and then I need to do the fire alarms, same things in this room, and we're gonna start doing the register covers. I need to get a little wing nut that holds the assembly in here. I've lost that. Registers, a big vanity light, because the plan in here at least is to go large vanity, large mirror, large light. I could have also put in 2 arc boxes and had like 2 individual lights, but not going for perfect here. I want to go what I'm going for in this house with sort of some of the finishes stuff. Some things can be replaced easily, but other things I don't want to have to do that. Is if I end up selling this place in the future, I want that transition from rental to selling it to be somewhat easy. And that's why I wanted to go double vanity, not just have some little single vanity that would be perfectly fine for a rental, but would just be something that you end up switching out later. Now that vanity could end up getting switched out later because it could get messed up as a rental, but it's all spaced out. You've got the receptacles on both sides. You've got well, that doesn't really matter, but you got that space for a larger mirror. There's nothing interfering with this being turned into a nicer bathroom later. I'm also going to be doing the floor soon. I think upstairs, downstairs, in the common areas, I'm going probably vinyl plank flooring. Although where the wood flooring is downstairs currently, I may clean all that up and do an oil-based floor finish, or just a floor finish. I don't know if it'll be oil-based. So that painted floor would be in the living room and the dining room, and extend up the staircase to here. And then I'd probably carpet these areas, and I know people don't like the sound of that, but carpet these areas, and then do the vinyl plank flooring in the bathroom, kitchen, side porch. I don't have enough money to vinyl plank floor the whole place. So I'm trying not to slow down the whole process by waiting for putting all the money together for everything. So that's one reason that this renovation has taken so long, is I have a lot of other things that I'm doing, and everything that I do is expensive. So I don't have enough money to do all of it all at once. So that is hopefully a very good update on this house for you. It might not seem like I don't know how much I filmed in this video, but the prep work for doing everything is just so much, and going to get everything. And of course, like I said, you got to pay for it all. So it's not as simple as just, me sleeping in a sleeping bag, pretending I don't have a family, and just working on this place constantly. This is why you do all this stuff before you have a family, before you have kids, before you get married, before you, buy a golden retriever, before you do all those things. I don't have a golden retriever or any dog, but basically before you take on responsibility, that's when you do this stuff. Now, I started this stuff when I was 23 or 24, somewhere around there. So I'm not whining about it personally. I'm just saying that if you have not done this yet, and if you do not have those responsibilities yet, get started. If you have those responsibilities, that's going to dictate how you go about it. But there's probably a whole lot of other things in your life that you could adjust to make it easier. A lot of people whine about their budgets and what they can and can't do, but then you look at their lives and they've got so much excess that they don't need to be taking on. And if you eliminated those things, that's going to free up time and money. And then probably also sort of your mental capacity. A lot of people get really hung up on having the responsibility of taking care of all of their fun stuff, or if you want to call it that, all their leisure, just all the extra stuff, paying for it, considering it, thinking about it. It's like a man worrying about his camper and his driveway, or his boat, or his vacation home, or all that stuff, and getting, building up anxiety over taking care of all those things, and the problems and the trickiness of dealing with it all. Sorry, that was a little bit of a unneeded ramble. Did I even walk in here? Yeah, told you about that problem. This place is looking clean though. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you very much to SimpliSafe for sponsoring the videos. That's what's kind of helping me push forward on this again, is getting that sponsorship. And it is greatly appreciated. Be sure to check them out, simplisafe.com/homemade-home for more information. Links will be in the description. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you next time.